everybody. Coming to you today to tell you about a great truth. A great truth. And I want you to know that this world's narratives, people tell me sometimes that, I minister with science and art a lot, about my beliefs and my faith and things. I'm an artist, so I like to depict art of my thoughts, what I think about God, of what I think about life, and my internal struggles and things, But with science, it says the creation testifies to the glory of God. The creation. It says only the fool has said there is no God. King David said that. Only the fool has said there is no God. And the book of Enoch says that, why did the heavenly bodies never break their orbit? Why are there 14 trees left every winter to recreate the forest in the spring out of the 14 trees that remain of the dead forest trees? The ecosystem is designed as such, like, why do the bees pollinate the flowers, yet they're two separate species, right? Hope you can hear me. So we'll start out, I'm going to go over evolution, history a little bit, layers of the earth, carbon dating, dinosaurs, things like that, okay? So when Jesus died on the cross, the veil was torn in the temple. The veil had a cherubim's face woven into it. And it says he came to destroy the works of the devil. So this veil that blinds men, their eyes, from the truth, was torn when he died on the cross. And it was thrown out of the temple. This veil that darkens and blinds and covers the truth. The devil represents that veil. It says he came to destroy the works of the devil. The high priest enters behind that veil every year that plays the holiness, and that veil kept us from God. Anyways, so I want you to know this. The first cell would have needed DNA. The first cell. I learned this from Ray Comfort when I was a little boy. My dad gave me this book by Ray Comfort, and me and my parents, I've cut them off. It's a long story, but I've cut them off. Jesus said you must hate your mother and your father to follow me. So we've had our disputes. And so I still love them. I still love my mom and my dad, but we're just different. And I'm not like my ancestors at all. So. But anyways, doesn't mean I don't love them. I gotta do what I gotta do. Anyways, the first cell would have needed DNA. So how can a language exist without an author? DNA is complex. It's A, G, T, and C chromosomes, 4. And they're in a sequence like 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. That in binary programming, 8 bits, or 1, 0, 1, 1, a 1 and a 0 is a bit, like a character. 8 of them make a word. These words create sentences and sequences of information. DNA does the same thing on a double helix. It talks to itself. That's how artificial intelligence works. It talks to itself. We think by talking and paralleling our thoughts to other things and talking to ourselves, really. Everything does to communicate or be conscious. So, or to be intelligent. DNA doesn't feel with a heart, but it thinks, And it thinks. It's intelligent. There's cellular machineries that take the DNA around and build structures and unpack it like a zip file. They're like little nanobots, And there's Golgi apparatuses, mitochondria, the cell nucleus, the cell membrane walls, all these things that fight viruses. All these things that keep viruses out and power the cell and the Golgi apparatus, all these little parts. It's like a world within a world. How can a language exist without an author? The first cell needed all this. The first cell needed all of this. So, long story short, I don't want to take forever, but how can a book write itself? And Ray Comfort really sparked this idea. I just developed and built on it all these years, And creationism. So, also, the Grand Canyon, they say it took millions of years to form. But think about this. The Little Grand Canyon in Georgia, it only took 200 years to form the Little Grand Canyon. 200 years. farmers have documented this in their documents. They documented that it's natural erosion. They cut out the earth. Natural erosion. Cut out a crater in the earth that scientists, if they didn't know that, they would have said it took thousands and millions of years to form, when really it only took 200 years. They interpret this information based off their narratives. Remember, they say the ones who win the wars write the history. The ones who control the books control the minds of the people. You know, my family came out of the Holocaust in Germany, the Hamburgs, H-A-M, Hamburgs, and it came out of Germany in the Holocaust in 1926 when Hitler, in the 1920s, he started rising up politically before he took power. They foresaw it and left. My grandmother told me all this genealogy, but the Nazis, you know, they classified like the skull shapes and Carapacus skulls from the Carapacus Mountain, the Caucasus Mountains, not the Carapacus. Those are different skulls. The Caucasus Mountain. They said it's beautiful like the Caucasus Mountain region. We're gonna call it the Caucasus. You know, they make up a lot of this stuff, y'all, and it doesn't mean you came from there. This means that these origins, you gotta really take it back to the credible sources. So, on top of this, carbon dating, it only goes back 4,000 years. The radiation leaves an object, but then they know how much radiation is left in an object or they know how old it is by how much radiation is left in the object. And after the halfway mark, they say it goes into exponential time and not linear, where it decays at a constant rate. They say the decay rate turns into exponential, where little fragments decay slower and slower as it breaks apart, slower and smaller. They don't know this. They don't know this. They just theorize it based on what they don't really know that. Remember, God said, "Where were you when the world was made?" They don't know. They can only go back 4,000 years. 4,000 years. That's all they can really see. And then it gets so blurry and they can't see it. It's just too inaccurate. It's assumptions that are inaccurate. And they don't know. So, the exponential decay rates is a theory. They don't really know it decays exponentially. It could just be linear still. They don't know. They just theorize it. Evolution's a theory. There's commonalities between every being. Like we all have eyeballs and skin and stuff. Those are commonalities. It doesn't mean they're evolutionary links. There's no transitional fossils either. There should be tons, you know. If the Big Bang was real and it needed a starting point, then why can energy not be created or destroyed with the law of energy mass conservation? That contradicts itself. There's a hole in it right there. Energy can't be created or destroyed, so how could it be created from a little starting point? It can't. There's holes in the theory. And also, when it comes to dinosaurs, they'll take fossil samples and all these things, and they'll give it to an artist, and out of a couple of bones, they'll make a whole dinosaur around, you know, just a little piece of a skeleton left. They don't know. There's been blood cells and hair in what they thought were dinosaur bones, you know, and if that was really millions of years old, that would be long decayed and gone. So it contradicts their theory. Really, it does. Look up these things. You'll see there's been red blood cells still left in the dinosaur bones samples. You know, and like, if it's millions of years old, why would it be there? There were fallen angels and monsters on this earth one time. It says that monsters came out of the womb of the women, and the abominations the fallen angels messed with and stuff, and the giants that came out of them. Oh, there's history we don't know about. And, like, you know, when it comes to paralleling history and faith, Noah and his 3 sons populated after the flood when the fallen angels were killed. Mesopotamia formed, Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. And out of that came Abraham, Lot, and everybody, right? And Egypt formed, and all the nations after Joseph was sold out, and his brothers moved to Egypt and for the famine, and then they were enslaved, and then went back to Israel, and then Israel got conquered. Now today it's back, or they've been dispersed a few times, but now today they're back. So, you know, the narratives in true history contradict the out of Africa theory, right? Because why does it start in Mesopotamia then? And if they say that under the ocean there's like Atlantis and all this, it's actually the flood of Noah buried those cities under the water. There's a lot of truth to be told, and I'll get to a lot of these deeper aspects later if you want to know more, but I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. So anyways, I love you guys, and if you want more, let me know. I have a whole lot to expound upon, and I hope that if you would like it, let me know. If you think this is good, let me know.